Good morning, grade 8. Today we are going to start with financial mathematics. And the nice thing about this whole session is that you are allowed to use a calculator. So for the first time, I think this year, and maybe the last, I'm not going to complain if you use a calculator. So let's start with the first one. We are going to look at different things that we can do. The first type of questions for today's lesson is to calculate whether VAT is included or excluded, how to calculate profit, discount and loss. Now most probably you did this when you did percentages in the class, so hopefully today's lesson will be revision, although there is stuff that you haven't seen before, so please pay attention in the whole thing. The first thing is to calculate the selling price. Remember, when I buy something, I can either give a discount, or we can sometimes sell it at a loss, or I can make a profit. So the selling price is the price at the end of the transaction. So I'm either going to take the cost price and increase or decrease it by a specific percentage. So let's look at the first one. If I buy anything for example, 300 Rand, but then I try to sell it after VAT is included. Remember, I'm now working from the one that is selling this, so from the company. So I bought it for 300 Rand, and now VAT must be included. So there's two ways to do this question. The one is where I'm going to say the VAT, and we know at this stage VAT is 15%. So VAT is 15% divided by 100 of 300 Rand. So the VAT itself is 45 Rand. So to get that new price, I'm going to take the 300 plus this 45, and that gives me the 345 Rand. So that is the total after VAT is included. A different way, instead of doing two different questions where I first calculate the VAT and then add the new price, I can also say I multiply by 100 plus the 15. That gives me 115 over 100. I'm going to do this when the new price is going to be bigger. So for example, when I'm going to add the VAT. So I know my new price is supposed to be bigger than the price that I had started with. So I'm increasing the cost price. So cost price times 115 plus over 100. And if I multiply that with my calculator just to check, with that I'm going to say 300 Rand times 115 over 100, and you will see I'm going to get 345. The nice thing is now I already have the VAT included, so that is the final price. In this case, I'm only going to do one sum. In this one, I must do two. If you choose this method, please remember that you must write the VAT and then your new price, because if you are not leaving this open and you just do this, I have no idea what you did. So please remember that you do this. You will see I'm going to move to this method for the rest, because of the fact that you will see later why I choose this method. Another example, an item is bought for 500 Rand and sold at a profit of 5%. So now we must add this one. Remember, profit is more. So I must add 5% profit to get to the new price. So if I use this next method, or the second method, I'm going to take my 500 Rand that I started with, and I multiply it by 100 plus 5, gives me 105 over 100, and that gave me 525. The final answer after the profit was added to the 500. Remember, if I make a profit, or if I add VAT, my last answer will be bigger than the previous one. Now what's happening if I give a discount? Now remember how discount works? If I buy something for 600 Rand and now I'm going to give the client a discount of 8%, then it means I'm going to now make a loss, which means my new price is now going to be less than the original price. So a discount, if I make a profit, I'm going to say 100 plus 5. For a discount, I'm going to, let me first show you the second method. Take my cost price times 92. Now where did I get that 92? 92 is 100 minus this 8. And if I multiply that, I get 552. Do you see that 552 is less than 600 because I gave a discount? Why does this work? If I'm going to only calculate the discount, remember when we did percentages, we said discount, if it's 8%, 8% is 8 over 100 of 600 Rand gives me 48 Rand. But that's my discount. So how do I get the new price? 600 minus the 48 gives me 552. Exactly the same way. Next one. If I sell something at a loss of 10%, so if I make a loss, it means I'm not going to have 750 anymore. I'm going to have a smaller number, which means if it's 10%, I can take that 750 and multiply it by 90 over 100. Where do I get the 90 from? 100 minus 10. And that will give me the 675. So to get just a reminder of what I'm going to do, if I know I'm going to increase, and when do I increase? When I must add the VAT, or if I'm going to make a profit, I increase, then I multiply by 100 plus that percentage over 100, because it's still percentage. If I give a discount or I see the word loss, then it means I'm going to subtract that from 100. 8 subtracted from 100 gives me 92. 10 subtracted from 100 gives me 90. So that is the one way that I can give you. I can give you the cost price and then I ask you for the selling price. But what's going to happen if I ask you to calculate the cost price and I know the selling price? So here's my first example. An item is sold for 500 Rand. That is now on the day of the business. After a profit of 5 Rand was added, what was the cost price? So what did this businessman buy it for to be able to sell it for 500 Rand after he added his profit of 5%? Now I hope you can see that now I'm reversing. So selling price is at the end, cost price was what I started with. So when I wanted from cost price to get to the selling price, I plus that 5% at that 100 and multiplied with that over 100. Now if I'm going to reverse, I'm going to multiply by 100 over 105. So now I multiply the selling price by 100 over 105. Remember, when I have the selling price, I want to calculate the selling price, I will multiply with 105 over 100. When I want to calculate the cost price, I'm going to multiply with 100 over 105. My calculator in this case, the same thing that I did with the previous question. So I'm going to take my 500 Rand times 100 divided by 105, and that gave me an answer of 476,19. Remember, we are busy with money now, so you must please round off to 2 decimal places. So 2 decimal places, I look at the third one, that third decimal can't change the 9, so my answer is 19 cents. Please don't worry and change to 10 cents or 20 cents like the businesses do. We are doing the maths now. We are not working with 5 cents and 10 cents, rounding off to whole numbers and stuff like that. We are going to do the maths, and this is what the maths gives me. Another one. An item is sold for 600 Rand after a given discount of 8%. What was the cost price? Now remember, if I want the cost price, I'm going to take my selling price, and now because of the fact that there was a discount of 8, I'm going to subtract 8 from 100. Because of the fact that I want to get the cost price, I put that small one at the bottom. And that will give me 652. On my calculator, I pressed 600 times 100 divided by 92, and that gave me again 17 cents, and there's my 17 cents, 652,17. So just again, for the previous one, if I want to get the new price or the selling price, I'm going to multiply with 92 over 100. If I want to calculate the cost price, I multiply by 100 over 92. In this case, I tried to get the new price, and I had the cost price, so I multiply by 115 over 100. So I added that 15 of VAT on the top. If I want to reverse and I want to calculate the cost price, I put that 100 plus the 5 or whatever percentage they gave me, I put that at the bottom. The third thing that I can ask you is how to calculate the percentage profit. So now in this case, I'm going to have the selling price and the cost price. But now I want to know what the percentage was. So let's look at the profit one. Now whether they ask you calculate percentage profit or loss or discount or whatever they ask you, if you see percentage, we know if I want to make something a percentage, I must multiply by 100 over 1. That's how I get a percentage. So in this case, to calculate the percentage profit, I'm going to divide profit divided by the original one times 100. Percentage profit is profit divided by original one. That original one is the cost price. Times 100 because I want to get a percentage. Now how do I calculate the profit? The profit is the difference between these two. So 850 minus the 500 gives me 350. So now I'm going to divide the 350 by the original one, and that's the 500 Rand. If they ask me what is the percentage loss, I'm going to say percentage loss is loss divided by original times 100. The times 100 is because I want a percentage. How do I calculate that loss? If I bought it for 600 Rand and I sold it only for 350, what is my loss? My loss is the difference between these two. So that's going to be 250, 600 minus the 350. So 250 divided by the original one, that part will always stay the same. Loss divided by original, profit divided by original, multiplied by 100, and that gave me 41,67. If I asked you, for example, somebody sold a house and they made a commission of so much, and I ask you to calculate the percentage commission, then you are going to take percentage commission is commission divided by original, the cost price, times by 100. So literally anything that I ask you there, you put that on top, divided by the original and multiplied by 100. Let's see if we can do the homework. The homework for today is exercise 9, page 26, and I want you to do number E, F, G, H, J, K, M, and N. Please make sure that you get the correct answers, and as the previous week or the first week, I gave the answers for the chapter or for that exercise at the beginning of the next session, and I'm going to do it like that again. Then you don't need to go back to this video to get the answers. So please try to do exercise 9, and then tomorrow you can get the answers for this exercise at the beginning of the next session. See you tomorrow.